on the way as the government comes under fire for its handling of the crisis. A man's body found outside a Melbourne primary school. ASIO raids on an MP's house as part of a Chinese spy investigation. And Australia wins the right to co-host the Women's World Cup.
Australia.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7's Afternoon News with Jacqueline Felgate.
First at 4, Victoria has recorded 30 new cases of COVID-19 as a massive testing blitz is carried out across hotspot suburbs. 2 childcare centres, a teenage health facility and a McDonald's have been shut down after positive cases. Reporter Laurel Irving has the latest. Laurel, this is another alarming rise.
Jackie, it's hard to believe that just 20 days ago Victoria was celebrating a day of 0 new cases in coronavirus. Now today, as you say, we have 30 new cases. I can tell you that 5 are linked to hotel quarantine, 7 to existing outbreaks, 5 have come from community testing and 13 are still under investigation, which means we have, again, a significant number of community transmissions. Now, what's that meant is we've seen the lockdown of the Origin Youth Mental Health Facility at Footscray after a staff member there tested positive. We've had 2 childcare centres shut down, 1 in Diamond Creek, 1 in Box Hill after 2 kids tested positive. And as well, the Mill Park McDonald's has been closed and a deep clean is now underway after a teenager worked there while infectious. Now, most of these outbreaks in Victoria and most of the cases are linked to outbreaks, gatherings of families and friends simply not doing the right thing.
This is the thing that is driving transmission at the moment, so we really need people to go back to that activity that they were undertaking in April and May, with physical distancing, with hand hygiene, staying at home if you are unwell or you have symptoms, getting tested.
And as you said, the Army is on the way to help. The question is how many are coming and when. There is confusion about their role in Victoria. We know that the state government initially requested help with the troubled hotel quarantine program. Now the state government's changed its mind. It says instead police and PSOs will have an expanded role. But just in the last hour, police have confirmed to me in a statement that there are no plans for police and PSO involvement. But it is clear this is a program that needs help. 34 cases in Victoria are linked to security guards in that program. And today we've been told for the first time that 30% of return travellers in that program are actually refusing to be tested. So now the federal government's announced that from now on, everybody going into and leaving hotel quarantine will be tested. Quite a mess, Jackie.
Yeah, an unbelievable statistic. Thank you very much, Laurel. Melburnians are being told we're not welcome in New South Wales, but the Prime Minister says Victoria's response to the outbreak should be reassuring for the rest of Australia. Nick McCallum is across the developments from National Cabinet. Nick, bring us up to speed.
Well, Jack, the Prime Minister after National Cabinet was very calm, very controlled. He said Australians should be assured by Victoria's response to this latest outbreak. He said there should be a sense of confidence. It will be controlled. The Chief Medical Officer, the Federal Chief Medical Officer, Brendan Murphy, said we had planned for an outbreak just like this and we are ready for it and we will make it controlled very quickly. The Prime Minister also emphasised after National Cabinet that there was a sense of unity amongst all the premiers and chief ministers to help Victoria overcome this outbreak. Let's have a listen.
I was very pleased by the solidarity of the premiers today in supporting Victoria. As I said, it could be them.
One of the great legacies of this outbreak is how our federation has worked well.
All the states and territories reaffirmed they plan to reopen their borders next month. But of course, that didn't stop a pylon against Victoria right around Australia. Quite frankly, no one wants any Victorians to travel to their state, to their territory, these school holidays. Let's start off with the Deputy Premier of New South Wales.
My message to Melburnians is simple: you're not welcome. Be responsible.
Well, we see what happens when you drop the ball.
on coronavirus.
If you're not locking down in Victoria, where the hotspots are right now, we'll lock you down here at our borders.
And a short time ago, the state government announced 5,000 of these infrared temperature checkers will be going out right across the state, particularly to motels, hotels, caravan parks, so they can temperature check tourists as they arrive in their various areas these school holidays. Also, there will be temporary coronavirus clinics set up in tourist areas along the Great Ocean Road, Lorne, Apollo Bay, and in ski resorts, Mount Buller, Mount Hotham and Falls Creek. Jack?
Yeah, such a good idea. Thank you very much. Nick McCallum reporting live there. The massive testing blitz is underway in hotspot suburbs. Ambulances are being sent to residential streets and pop-up clinics set up in troubled areas. Reporter Cameron Bowe caught up with one of the nurses on the front line.
We are now fortunate enough to be able to spend some time with someone who is on the front line of dealing with the COVID-19 situation in Melbourne's hotspots, and that's nurse Hermione Misra. Hermione, just tell us, has there been a noticeable change today in terms of people's attitudes to being tested?
Yeah, sure. So I've noticed that more people are becoming aware of why they need to be tested. So hence, we're actually getting more people getting tested for that reason, which is a great sign.
You've been involved in this for 6 weeks now. Has that changed over that period of time?
Over the 6 weeks, I've noticed that there has been a tremendous increase in numbers. Obviously, after the restrictions were put off, Victoria's had an increase in numbers. People are actually coming down. Parents are getting tested. Kids, obviously, there are few schools around Melbourne that have had a breakout. They're obviously getting tested, but even parents, they're getting tested, which shows that people are actually willing to do the right thing.
And do you feel like the testing process is improving, becoming more streamlined?
Definitely, the testing process has been improved. We're getting the results within 3 days for everyone, so patients who are symptomatic and asymptomatic, which is a great sign.
Hermione, thanks so much for your time. Thanks very much for your work, especially right now. We're here at the showgrounds. This is one of the bigger setups at the moment. They're going to be expanding the number of testing stations here over the weekend.
Cameron Bowe, thank you. A body has been found in a car park next to a Melbourne primary school. Tegan Dolling is following the story for us this afternoon. Tegan, a passerby made the grim discovery this morning.
They did, Jack, and as you can see behind me, forensics and the homicide squad are still down here at the scene combing for clues. The body was found in this car park. It's actually the primary school's car park, which is right next door. So obviously where the parents are dropping off their kids in the morning, and that's exactly what happened this morning. The last day of the term, it was a father and his young children who, as you said, made this very grim discovery at around 7 a.m. Now, the area was obviously quickly shut down. It was swarmed by police, and the school actually made the decision to close a day early. Now, residents have told me today that they're shocked that a body was found in such a public place, which is actually very busy throughout the day.
Very shocked because it's a very quiet area, and my children went to the primary school, and to see like that, that's awful.
Do you know how was he when you spoke to him? Was he okay?
His hands were tied up, and that's as far as I know.
Now, just to show you the scene here, over my shoulder, police have been spending a lot of time. They've been looking at some tyre tracks which have been outlined by some evidence markers. That's at the top of the cricket club. But they have been focusing a lot of their time down at the back of this scene, at the back of this car park. That's where a lot of the evidence markers are, and sadly where the body was found this morning. Now, the homicide squad is leading this investigation, and they have confirmed, Jackie, that it is in fact suspicious.
Tegan Dolling reporting live there. Virgin Airlines has a new owner. American private equity group Bain Capital has become the operator after the other remaining bidder pulled out of the race. Cirrus Capital Partners, which has links to Richard Branson, dropped out, claiming administrators weren't engaging with them. Bain says it's committing to keeping as many jobs as possible, and we'll have more on this from our reporter Christy Mayer later in the bulletin. Australia will host the next Women's World Cup with New Zealand in 2023. Ecstatic players and fans have spent the day celebrating before work begins on delivering a tournament to remember.
Almost 2 years in the making, it was the moment Australian football had been waiting for.
Which will be
Australia.
The 2023 Women's World Cup officially on its way to Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, I can't even begin to explain it. There was so much anticipation and we just erupted as soon as they called Australia and New Zealand.
The wave of excitement going all the way to London.
We did it! Come on!
Captain and superstar Sam Kerr head over heels with the announcement and ready to wow crowds with her skill and brilliant talent as one of the world's best. In New Zealand, excitement too. Our bid was the favourite and we beat Colombia in the vote 22-13.
For the first time, FIFA goes in this part of the world to host a major competition.
This is a historical day for Australian football. I hope everyone remembers it.
The tournament is set to be held across 12 cities in Australia and New Zealand, every state hosting matches, with the final to be played at Sydney's ANZ Stadium.
There's going to be over 1 billion people, and there's only 7 billion people in the world, and they're going to be watching football being played on our shores. It's going to be magnificent.
Jim Wilson, 7 News.
Some welcome good news. Up next, a top doctor's advice on whether to have children with mild COVID symptoms tested. Plus, the hunt for ram raiders who smashed into a suburban footy club. And a sneak peek at how our new city train stations are shaping up. Stay with us. We're live from Melbourne.
For the first time in its 350-year history, the hotel has agreed to open its doors to cameras.
The most exclusive tour.
It's like living in Downton Abbey.
See where the newest royals stayed before that big day.
Meghan Markle was here.
The extraordinary Clifton Hotel, tonight on 7/2.
At Persistos, we farm our oil from these amazing trees, harnessing the natural power of eucalyptus to create cleaning products that are free from harsh chemicals. From our fields to our family, from our farm to you.
What are you looking at, hon?
Oh, just a little bit of T&W.
Huh? Hey, I got a package for Ada.
Wow, you're here already?
Temple and Webster. Save today on our massive end of financial year sale.
When the road calls, here's the very best way to answer. The BMW X3 S-Drive 20i from $69,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
For over 40 years, Canning Vale has invested in quality and design, making exclusive luxury homewares attainable. And now you can enjoy premium quality with free shipping and up to 70% off with Canning Vale's end of financial year sale. Make home a sanctuary of warmth and style with generous discounts on the distinctive Canning Vale range with 100-day home trial and free returns. Shop online now using code EOFY for fast free shipping. Up to 70% off for a limited time. CanningVale.com. AHC's perfecting eye cream for your face. Once only for the eyes, now for the entire face. This is K-Beauty at its best. Enjoy hydrated, dewy, radiant looking skin with AHC. See the brand new offer from AHC Eye Cream for Face with a gorgeous free gift. Live on Open Shop, Channel 75.
Hi, Peter. What can I get you?
Just some beef mince, please.
Just some beef mince. Tell me, was Bradman just a cricketer, Peter?
Don Bradman was the greatest.
I hear you, Bill.
Did Kate just do a spot of telly?
And I suppose your mum Denise makes just a bolognese.
Peter, Mum. Okay. I'll have some beef mince, please.
Great choice. Because
our beef's the greatest meat on earth.
A healthy microbiome is a diverse microbiome. So LifeSpace Daily Probiotics contain up to 15 strains of beneficial bacteria to support yours through every stage of life. We can all be living innovation.
Bevmark's annual stock take sale is now on. We're discounting all mattresses by 50% and all bedroom furniture by 20%. No gimmicks, no exceptions. Bevmark's, the sleep professionals. Better sleep, better life.
Right now, knowing where you stand financially is more important than ever.
But with so many different benefits, rebates and concessions, it can be confusing.
That's why there's Benefits Finder in your CommBank app. In seconds, we can help you find the benefits you may be eligible for.
It's just one of the ways we're doing more things for more people together.
Live from Melbourne, you're watching 7's Afternoon News. It is 11 degrees in the city right now. The Labor Party has been rocked by an investigation linked to Chinese spying. A New South Wales MP is being probed over alleged connections to foreign espionage. We'll go live now to Olivia Lemming in Canberra for the latest. Olivia, what's the Prime Minister had to say?
Well, he says this shows that Australia will not tolerate foreign interference, in a veiled warning to Beijing after Australian federal police officers searched the home of Jacqueline Mosselmain for evidence, joined by a forensic team combing 3 vehicles parked outside as part of this joint investigation between ASIO and the AFP into suspected interference by the Chinese government in our political system. The Upper House MP refusing to comment as he left. Detectives also attending his office at the New South Wales Parliament, though no charges have been laid. The Prime Minister says the allegations are being taken seriously.
We won't cop anyone coming and seeking to interfere in our political system, in our energy sector, in any area of perceived area of opportunity for an outside actor.
In a statement, ASIO emphasised the raids do not relate to any specific threat to the community. Mr Mosselmain's been a controversial supporter of China, forced to stand down as Assistant President of the New South Wales Legislative Council over his pro-China speeches, taking 9 trips to the country since 2009, with the Chinese government at least partly funding some of his trip. On one occasion, criticising Australia's tough foreign interference laws. He's also called for a new world order and repeatedly praised President Xi Jinping's handling of coronavirus. Here he is in February this year.
Can I just say that the Chinese government should be commended for the immediate action that it took, because it was contained so much in China. That meant that the rest of the world had not been affected as it would have if those measures were not taken.
Earlier this year, the head of ASIO, Mike Burgess, warned the agency was prepared to name and shame foreign actors if they're exposed as interfering in our political system. The investigation may take some weeks to complete, creating further headaches for the Labor Party, already under pressure over the Victorian branch stacking scandal. And no word today from the federal opposition leader Anthony Albanese. His office maintains that this is a state issue. Jackie.
Olivia Lemming, thank you for the update. Construction of the long-awaited Metro Tunnel project hit a major milestone today. 4 boring machines digging deep under the city have met up, creating a walkway under Swanston Street. Reporter Tom Chadwick has the story.
Linda Cantan from Rail Projects Victoria joins me. Linda, it is an historic day. Tell me about the breakthrough.
Oh, look, it's a fantastic milestone today to break through from Federation Square through to the Central Cavern at Town Hall Station. That means that we've opened up this huge cavern area between Flinders Quarter, City Square and Federation Square. And you can walk all the way from Collins Street through to Flinders Street underground.
Tell me about these machines that we're going to see in action today.
The road header, we've had 4 road headers at this site. The road header coming through today, it's got a screw head on it which quarries through the rock.
What a spectacular sight, no doubt.
It is spectacular. Look, the whole station is spectacular in terms of the amount of work that's going on beneath Swanston Street, unbeknownst to the public above. But also it gives you a vision of what the final station is going to look like, catering for, up to 100,000 people coming in and out every day.
Well, this all sounds like good news, but tell us, when is the completion date?
2025, and this is a fantastic milestone today as a way forward to achieving that fantastic milestone in the future.
Linda, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We're being urged to be extra diligent in preventing the spread of COVID-19 these school holidays. Victorian families, especially those in hotspot suburbs, are being told to holiday from home. It comes as coronavirus cases surge within the community, with transmission still a major concern for health authorities. And for more on this, we're joined by Associate Professor Charlotte Hesby from the Royal Australian College of GPs. Thanks for your time this afternoon, Charlotte. Firstly, what's your school holiday advice for families?
My advice, please have a great relaxing time. But remember that we've had a really tough time this year and we've achieved amazing results with stomping on COVID-19, but we now need to really double down on those efforts to have a holiday that is actually distanced from other people. If you can be socially distanced, remember the hygiene, hand hygiene, and test if you think you might have an infection.
So should people actually be visiting family if they're located in hotspot suburbs?
The answer to that is a no. So hotspots are really being asked to stay at home, to keep to themselves and really try and stay out of trouble, away from other people with infections and in any risk of spreading it to other people.
And when we look at our kids, if your child has mild symptoms like a runny nose or a cough that they would have all the time at this time of year, is that something to be worried about? Should they be tested?
Look, it's not anything to be worried about, but we are asking that everybody with any symptoms, including small children, be tested. By testing, we're able to actually pick up infections that we're not expecting, and that's the way we're actually going to stop these outbreaks of infection. So please, I know it's really difficult, but get all of your children and yourselves tested with any symptoms.
And just finally, if you are from Melbourne and you're not from a hotspot suburb, should you still take that holiday around the state, going to country areas? What's your advice to people who are sort of weighing that up this afternoon?
Look, if you're outside a hotspot and you've booked a holiday, go and have your holiday as long as you're able to practice what we just talked about, being able to be socially distanced, being respectful of what family members you might be going away with or other friends, and maintaining hygiene things when you're outside of wherever it is you're going, and get tested the minute you have any symptoms, if any symptoms arise, but don't go if you've actually got symptoms at the moment.
Charlotte Hesby, thank you so much for that very valuable advice this afternoon.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
A Melbourne man accused of carrying out a $4 million gold heist has been granted bail. That's still to come this afternoon. Plus, a narrow escape after a crash landing. And Brits ignore beach restrictions as a heat wave sweeps across the UK. We're back soon, live across Victoria.
While everybody else was aging, I was getting younger.
The Academy Award-winning masterpiece, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, tonight on 7 Mate.
Join AHM Hospital and Extras Direct and you'll get 6 weeks free. Plus, we'll waive any 2 and 6 month waits on extras. Yay! Whether you're a single, a couple, or a family. It's that simple. That doesn't look very simple. Offer ends June 30. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
Bevmark's annual stock take sale is now on. We're discounting all mattresses by 50% and all bedroom furniture by 20%. No gimmicks, no exceptions. Bevmark's, the sleep professionals. Better sleep, better life.
Sun Super's stress-tested investment strategies have delivered returns that have beaten the industry average over 3, 5, 7 and 10 years. Join our 1.4 million members and feel the strength of Sun Super.
It's tax time madness at JB with prices smashed. Like a crazy 20% off Microsoft Surface Pro 7, Pro X and Laptop 3. Grab a crazy $300 off this premium HP laptop. And 10% off Apple Mac computers. Extended opening hours until June 30. JB, you've done it again.
Design, performance, exceptional value. A Mazda stands out. At the Mazda Standout End of Financial Year event, get a Mazda CX-3 Neo Sport from $23,990 drive away. Search Mazda offers now.
Julia, how was your vacation? Oh, you've had a
Yes, I've had an epic reminder done for Aldi's special buys.
Turn your face into an epic reminder for this Saturday and get work boots for $34.99, a high-vis jacket for $39.99 and a wet-dry vacuum for $69.99. Only at Aldi. Good. Different.
The world needs more cooks, because with a hot pan and a little Lurpak, a cook can tame the wild, feed the hungry, and transform nothing into everything. Where there are cooks, there is hope.
Hi everyone.
everyone.
It is so important that we keep active. I'm really trying to track my food.
I've lost 2 kilos. Feeling good. Thanks, WW.
Join today and get 40% off at ww.com or download the app.
Choose a King Coil mattress at Domain. Proudly Australian made and owned. Up to 60% off King Coil intimate mattresses and ensembles. The Thea Queen mattress, 4 feels, 1 hot price, $699. The limited edition King Coil CXX features a 3-zone conformer coil system, while Ravello offers King Coil's Reflex Plus support at a great price. Relax and complete comfort when you add an AH Beard adjustable base, priced from just $999. Shop in store or online now at Domain.
Returning to our top story now, the state government has scaled back its request for military support to help tackle our COVID crisis. 1,000 troops were meant to be deployed to help monitor hotel quarantine and provide logistical and medical support. Now, only 150 personnel will be brought over. And for more on this, we're joined by Victorian Police Association Secretary Wayne Gatt. Mr Gatt, is it the responsibility of police to manage these hotels? Is it putting your officers at risk?
Well, it could put our officers at risk if it's not done properly, and if, I suppose, the workforce isn't consulted to make sure the health and safety requirements aren't put in place. But look, it's fundamentally not a policing role, and we've got to remember that people in quarantine, they're not prisoners, they're not in custody. What they need is health care, and that's not something our members do naturally. It's not to say that we won't be able to support and provide a policing role to support that, but we're not naturally equipped to do that in the first instance. But look, as we have been for many months now, remain happy to help if required, but it's something that probably requires a little bit more coordination at a state level to make sure they get this bit right.
And so would you prefer to see the Army brought in, however many officers we need to manage this situation and to get it under control?
Look, our preference would be to see police doing their job, and that's policing. While this pandemic's running, don't forget there's still crime reduction, crime prevention's required in the broader community, and indeed even a policing response to enforcing the restrictions out in the community. That's work that's best done by police and PSOs, and they're doing a really, really good job of that at the moment. If there's a need for our members to support a health operation in a hotel, well, I'm sure that Victoria Police would have a capacity to do that. They're doing that now, in effect. But I think some thought needs to go into this. If we just replace private security guards with police officers, all we're going to do is make sure that police and PSOs are the ones catching COVID-19 and security guards aren't. And
when you talk about what police are effectively doing right now on the COVID front line, can you expand on that a bit more? Can you tell us exactly what your officers are actually doing?
Well, each and every day you've got members of Victoria Police, both police and PSOs, enforcing COVID-19 restrictions, helping to educate the community, and making sure that people limit the size of gatherings, for example, and where you have blatant breaches, making sure that enforcement occurs. They've been doing that now for nearly 3 months.
Yeah.
We believe that that's the sort of activity that Victoria Police has to play. It's the role that we need to focus on, and we'd like to continue to do that. Look, we welcome any support that can come to support not only police but health agencies and health workers in the community. If that comes from the ADF, we say come one, come all. If it comes from other areas that the government puts up, we would welcome that too. We're all in this together, and we really do need a combined and coordinated approach to make sure that frontline health and emergency service workers and police can do their job safely.
Yeah, I think we're all very grateful for the role that police are doing at the moment. Wayne Gatt, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
No problems, thank you.
A pilot has been rescued from the wreckage of his light plane after a crash landing in California. The aircraft bounced along the tarmac and became airborne once again before overshooting the runway. Firefighters pulled the man from the aircraft. He was treated for some minor injuries but was not badly hurt. Thousands of Brits have crammed onto beaches as a summer heatwave swept across the UK. There are now fears of huge outbreaks linked to seaside towns. Hugh Whitfeld has more from London.
In theory, the lockdown still exists here in Britain. Pubs and cafes are still closed, but it didn't stop people heading down to the beach on the south coast of England, flooding beaches in places like Brighton and Bournemouth. It did appear that it was very difficult to practice social distancing as the heat reached 33 degrees here in the UK. In Bournemouth, they declared a major incident to bring in extra resources to try and disperse the crowds from the beach.
I think it's nice because we've been stuck in for so long. I just feel like it's something else to do.
but there is a lot of people here.
Feels like Corona isn't really a thing now, but obviously it is.
I'm enjoying. Today is really nice weather, yeah?
It was a really hot day. I thought I'd take advantage of it.
Coronavirus is still very real here in the UK. 149 people have died from coronavirus just in the last 24 hours. And England's chief medical officer has warned that if people don't practice social distancing, then cases will rise. Here in London, it does appear that there is a huge amount of lockdown fatigue. Police were called to break up what they've described as an unlicensed music event. What it really was a street party that got completely out of hand. Revellers in Brixton turned on police when they tried to break up the party. 22 police officers were injured, 2 required hospital treatment, just 4 people were arrested, and police here in London are warning that they will have extra patrols out and about to monitor illegal events like that while the lockdown continues.
Virgin Airlines has a new owner and it's committed to saving as many jobs as possible. The details just ahead. Also, a cruise ship boss grilled over the Ruby Princess disaster. And why Sam Newman is threatening to cut ties with Geelong. We're back in just a couple of minutes.
They all wish they felt 10 years younger.
Just need to get back to being the person that I was so proud to be once.
There's no going back.
Okay. In just 10 days, their lives will be transformed for good.
Oh my God.
The most heartwarming, life-changing show of the year.
Oh my...
10 years younger in 10 days. Monday after Big Brother on 7.
At Basisto's, we farm our oil from these amazing trees, harnessing the natural cleaning power of eucalyptus to create laundry products that are kind to sensitive skin. From our fields to our family, from our farm to you.
This end of financial year, get the Hyundai Petrol V6 Santa Fe. With the latest technology, 7 seats, and now a $1,500 bonus. Hyundai's end of financial year sale. See it to believe it.
It's tax time madness at JB with prices smashed. Like $100 on the ScoPro Hero 8 Black. Beats Wireless Power Beat 3 crunch to $159. And this is nuts. $200 on the Ecovacs 950 robotic vacuum. Extended opening hours until June 30. JB, you've done it again.
Anaconda's Super Stock Take Sale ends Sunday. Ugly Stick Tackle Rats Kid Spin Combo, 30% off, now only $39.99. All fishing shirts now half price. Head in store or shop online at anacondastores.com. Anaconda!
If you've been injured at work, on the road or in a public place, your normal life can suddenly stop. Check if you have a claim for compensation online in minutes so you can start again. With Slater and Gordon, tomorrow starts today.
Should I be worried?
With COVID-19 Health Assist, eligible members can receive health advice from hundreds of Medibank healthcare experts at no extra cost. See how we're providing better support today.
Okay, long black for Dave, skinny latte for Dave, hot chockey for Dave, and cappuccino for David. Who's David?
From $1 each, shout the team at 7-Eleven.
The Fantastic Sale is on now. Warm up with some seriously hot prices across our range of sofas, dining, kids' furniture and heaps more. But hurry, these prices won't last. Only at the Fantastic Sale, on now.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7's Afternoon News with Jacqueline Felgate.
Good afternoon again. Our top stories this Friday. 30 new cases in Victoria as thousands in quarantine refuse to be tested. A man's body found outside a Melbourne primary school. ASIO raids on an MP's house as part of a Chinese spy investigation. And Australia wins the right to co-host the Women's World Cup.
Australia.
Returning to our top story now, Victoria has recorded another 30 positive tests today. It includes 2 children, one from a childcare centre in Diamond Creek and another in Box Hill. A mental health use facility has also been closed after a worker tested positive. That worker also had a shift at a Mill Park McDonald's while infectious. Officials say most of the outbreaks and clusters we're seeing now are big groups of family and friends who aren't being as diligent as they should be.
This is the thing that is driving transmission at the moment. So we really need people to go back to that activity that they were undertaking in April and May, with physical distancing, with hand hygiene, with staying at home if you are unwell or you have symptoms, getting tested if you have symptoms.
800 testers are out in force today, targeting people who live in COVID-19 hotspot suburbs. Virgin Airlines has a new owner. An American private equity group has become the operator after a rival with links to Richard Branson dropped out. Christy Mayer explains.
Well, earlier today it looked like negotiations for Virgin's future had stalled, with Cyrus Capital announcing it was withdrawing its bid. But just hours later, Bain Capital announced it has bought Virgin Australia.
The administrators of the company announcing that they have entered into a sale and implementation deed with Bain Capital.
The deal comes after months of uncertainty following Virgin's entry into voluntary administration back in April. Under the agreement of sale, Bain has promised to keep as many Virgin jobs as possible and honour staff entitlements. It will also honour customers' travel credits and keep the Velocity Rewards program. This afternoon, Virgin welcomed the news in a statement saying this is a great day for Virgin Australia and a huge milestone. We know they are committed to investing in the airline and we are thrilled to be working with them into the future. One big question which hasn't been answered, though, is how many Virgin jobs will be lost in the restructure. We know the airline will be streamlined and it's a difficult time for the whole aviation industry, with so many flights grounded because of coronavirus. Just yesterday, Qantas axed 6,000 jobs.
The federal government needs to bring forward its review of the JobKeeper system and make it clear that it is going to put in place an appropriate package in aviation.
In the meantime, we understand more details on exactly what the new Virgin Australia will look like will be announced next week.
An accused gunman involved in one of the state's largest robberies has been released on bail. As Charnel Valla reports, the thief made off with almost $4 million worth of loot, and some of it is still missing.
Carl Kachami admits that he stole almost $4 million in gold, jewellery and cash. And despite the fact that hundreds of thousands of dollars are still missing, today he was granted bail. The gold heist was the third largest in Victorian history, and police say Kachami hatched the plan with his lifelong friend Daniel Eade. But within hours of wheeling their bounty down Collins Street, police were onto them.
He might be a brilliant academic and a very good antique dealer, but I don't think he's a master criminal by any stretch of the imagination.
Detectives say Kachami held up the Melbourne Gold Company in April. Behind the counter was Daniel Eade. The pair thought they'd turned off the cameras, but they had no idea about the backup power supply. Those cameras ended up capturing what police say was a joint operation between Eade and Kachami, who they say can be seen on the vision working together to empty safes. Kachami later buried the loot at his mother's home in Dollar. Today she forked out more than $500,000 as surety that granted him bail.
I'd imagine he's feeling quite relieved, seeing he made a pretty nutty decision to get involved in a silly crime.
Daniel Eade was denied bail. The magistrate told him if the missing money is to miraculously turn up, he could try his luck at bail for a second time.
A ute has smashed its way through football club rooms during an attempted ram raid at Frankston. The stolen vehicle was found wedged inside the front doors when police arrived this morning. The would-be thieves were forced to flee on foot. Geelong great Sam Newman has offered to remove his name from the Cats records. It comes after the club raised concerns over Newman's comments on the Black Lives Matter movement. They've received numerous complaints from fans saying his commentary in a scathing podcast was racist after AFL players kneeled to pay tribute to slain African-American man George Floyd. Let's take a quick look now at Melbourne's traffic.
Good afternoon, Sebastian Cant in the Able Banking traffic chopper. We are city end of the Westgate, having a look at a slow crawl out of the Domain Tunnel, and it doesn't let up until you're out on the Princes Freeway. It's a slow old run, especially past Millers and Grieve due to a couple of earlier collisions. Also delays on the Ring Road heading out towards the Hume Highway. Spend less on your home loan and more on what matters with Arab Bank, Australia's owner-occupier variable home loan rates. Visit arabbank.com.au. Terms and conditions apply. Enjoy your Friday.
Sport is next with Andrew McCormack and Mako. The Hawks are preparing for Hub Live.
They are, Jack, but perhaps not quite where you think. We'll have more on that next. Plus, we're live to Sydney ahead of Collingwood's clash with the Giants. Also, the Dogs bite hard against the Swans, but how long will Aaron Norton be sidelined for? And Liverpool painting the town red after a drought-breaking triumph.
The Magpies have a score to settle.
GWS are through!
They hammered Collingwood when it counted most.
Against the rock stars of the comp.
We're going to get it on because we don't get along.
Then, in the game you thought wouldn't happen, the Bombers are back.
Oh, yes!
Will they soar high over Carlton, or will the Blues keep their winning form? Two massive matches start tonight on 7.
At Basisto's, we farm our oil from these amazing trees, harnessing the natural power of eucalyptus to create cleaning products that are free from harsh chemicals. From our fields to our family, from our farm to you.
With Ryobi One Plus U equals anything you can imagine. In fact, one battery powers over 100 tools, so 1 + U equals endless possibilities.
Shut up and take my money.
Nothing like a party in the summertime. Nothing like seeing you, baby, looking so fine. Ooh, nothing like a party.
Your Ford dealer is open and ready to help your business get back to business with high-vis value. So you can get the special edition Ranger FX4 for only $57,990 drive away. Or the special edition Ranger Sport for just $49,490 drive away. And don't forget to check if your business is eligible for the government's instant asset write-off this financial year. So hurry into your Ford dealer now for high-vis value.
When life gives you messiness, Godfrey's Stocktake sale gives you cleanliness. Save on essentials like the Hoover Heritage Vacuum, $99, save $100. And the Hoover Eco Pets Vacuum, $149, now half price. Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Beat the cold at Harvey Norman with the best in heating and air treatment solutions. Stay warm this winter with our range of ceramic, radiant and fan heaters, convection, column and panel heaters, the latest in gas and electric flame effect models, heated throws and electric blankets, plus a huge range of reverse cycle air conditioners. Treat the air quality in your home with everything from air purifiers to humidifiers. Harvey Norman has all the big brands at great prices. Visit us in store or online. Harvey Norman, your heating and air treatment specialist.
Go! Sun Super is one of Australia's largest and best superannuation funds, awarded both Super Ratings and Chant West 2020 Super Fund of the Year. Join our 1.4 million members and feel the strength of Sun Super.
Oh, baby, baby, feed me. Baby, feed me. Oh, feed me.
Time powerless to resist.
4 seconds. It'll come down.
4 seconds.
To 4 seconds.
Wow!
New The Chase. Weekdays on 7.
Welcome back. Collingwood has a chance to exact some preliminary final revenge on the Giants tonight in a Friday night blockbuster up in Sydney, and that's where we find Chief Footy reporter Mark Stevens. And Steve-O, the Magpies flew up earlier today.
Yes, they did, Andrew. The way of the world, they had their own plane, a charter, if you like, landed on the tarmac, and they've come straight here to the Novotel Olympic Park. They're just preparing at the moment. I believe they'll leave in about half an hour for the massive clash with the Giants, and we'll have Matty Boyd speaking at 6 o'clock. But there's more news, of course, from Sydney, and the Bulldogs left earlier today. All the focus was on Aaron Norton out at the airport. They had their own plane as well. Norton certainly struggling. They're still on crutches. He has an ankle injury. The Dogs, they left about 10:30. He's had scans, awaiting the results. Everything pointing to this one being reasonably serious. The club's saying they still have not enough information to make the results public. We'll learn about 6 o'clock, but I think he'll miss a reasonably significant amount of time, unfortunately, with that ankle, a rather strange one. And also Lloyd of the Bulldogs as well has got a collarbone, so he's set to miss probably a month, and a leading goal kicker last year. So a couple of blows for the Bulldogs, even though they were great last night against the Swans. But as I said, the Pies about to leave the Novotel for the big clash with the Giants, Andrew.
Thanks, Steve-O. Hawthorn is preparing for potential hub life in Tasmania. Tom Brown has fresh information this afternoon. And Tom, when can we expect the Hawks to fly south?
Good afternoon, Andrew. Hawthorn and North Melbourne both investigating not so much a hub, but more fly-in, fly-out access to Tassie from round 8 onwards. I think both clubs hope it might help them, well, obviously service their Tasmanian market and fans, but also avoid a trip to Perth. The Tasmanian government's spoken this afternoon. They'll review the situation in 2 weeks and they'll also keep a close eye on Victoria. But the crux of it is that they're open to border restrictions easing from July 24, which coincides conveniently with round 8 when the Hawks would like to go down there. This was Alistair Clarkson.
We've got some sort of hope at some point in time that Tassie will be an environment that can host some clubs in a hub type of environment. And if that would involve Hawthorn and the Kangaroos, ironically, who play one another this week, then we'd certainly be up for that.
And Andrew, I'll have more on Collingwood's arrangement in their Perth hub shortly at 6 o'clock.
Thanks, Tom. To the news of the day, and Matilda's players say they're thrilled with this morning's announcement that Australia and New Zealand will co-host the Women's World Cup in 2023. The event will be a huge boost for the sport and will provide global attention for our Aussie stars.
For us, we play our best football in front of our fans. I think that gives us obviously an advantage, and it just makes us so excited.
The tournament is set to be held across 12 cities in Australia and New Zealand, with the final to be played at Sydney's ANZ Stadium. And there's been pandemonium in the streets of Liverpool this morning as a 30-year drought came to an end with the Reds crowned Premier League champions. It's Liverpool's 19th top Division League title, their first since 1990. It came after Chelsea defeated Manchester City 2-1 this morning, meaning they couldn't be caught.
Unfortunately, I have no words. It's unbelievable. It's much more than I ever thought what would be possible. Becoming chairman with this club is absolutely incredible.
It's the earliest the championship has been awarded, with 7 games still to be played this season. And a good morning for Matilda and Liverpool fans this morning. Absolutely.
Yeah, so. Fantastic. And plenty more at 6.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thanks, Macca.
A senior executive at Carnival Australia has been grilled at the Ruby Princess inquiry. As Robert Avadia reports, a grieving widow has told of her husband's heartbreaking death just days after disembarking.
Well, there have been quite a few fiery encounters right from the get-go since the Ruby Princess inquiry began, mostly from its irascible Commissioner Brett Walker SC. That certainly continued today in a line of questioning to a Carnival senior executive, a man by the name of Peter Little, who is in charge of guest experiences, a rather unfortunate title given we know what happened to so many of the guests once they disembarked the Ruby Princess on March 19. He kept on pursuing the same line of questioning as vigorously as counsel assisting Richard Beasley. His main inquiry is the swabs, why there were so few swabs on board the Ruby Princess.
It wasn't my, and is not my responsibility, that area of the business. Whose responsibility was it? It sits with the medical services department.
Peter Little offered a statement to begin his testimony today, offering his sympathies to everybody who has been so adversely affected by this tragedy, none more so than the person who was in the witness box before him. Jeanette Moore's husband, Bob, died from COVID-19 after disembarking the Ruby Princess on March 19. She said he had little more than a sniffle the day after, and that it was actually their local GP who insisted they get tested.
Our doctors got together and he rang straight back within 5 minutes and said, "Cool.
Get an ambulance." Yes, OK, you've said that in Paris.
Yep.
Mrs Moore also testified that she did not hear herself of any advertising from Carnival on board about free health checkups.
Mike Amor is working on tonight's edition of 7 News at 6. Mike, we learned today just how many returning travellers are refusing to get tested for coronavirus.
Jack, it's quite staggering. 30% of people flying into Melbourne from overseas are refusing to get tested when they're in hotel quarantine. Victoria's new COVID spike has been partly driven by a breakdown in security at these hotels. Today, the Federal Chief Health Officer, Brendan Murphy, says states can compel people to be tested when they're in quarantine. Also tonight, drivers on a Melbourne tollway are set to pay more from next week. We'll also have the story of almost $500,000 in cash found buried in a backyard. It sparked a bitter dispute over who the money rightfully belongs to. And supermarkets have expanded their product limits to all stores across Australia. We'll have an update on what the restrictions are. Hard to believe it's happening again.
Isn't it?
Jack.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. We'll see you then. And a new species of wombat has been discovered in a forgotten museum in the United States. The species lived in Australia about 25 million years ago. It's a cousin of our modern wombat, but would have been as much as 5 times bigger. It's thought the fossil was discovered in South Australia in the 1970s. Time now for a check on the weather. Here's Melina, Saris and Mal. The sunshine's finally returned.
Jack, the blue skies are back and they are here to stay this weekend. I'll have all the details after the break.
Sworn enemies will meet, but behind their smiles,
cheers, guys.
They're plotting to take her down for good.
This is their life. There's something going on. It's time to get rid of her.
She's getting ready for the ultimate double cross.
It's like the Last Supper.
But whose Last Supper will it be?
Angela's exactly where we want them to be. Everyone in this room's a threat. Bon appetit.
Can she survive TV's biggest week?
If you're going to shoot your shot, make sure you hit. Yeah, it's game on. Oh la la.
Big Brother's Last Supper, Sunday at 7 on 7.
Who could have known that the smallest changes could make the biggest impact? You did. And so did we. That's why Hills always starts with a pet's biology. So you're always a step ahead.
At Domain, we want to help you make it yours with our amazing range of customisable Australian-made furniture and bedding. Choose from a range of sizes, fabrics, colours, timber stains and more to create your perfect piece. Make it bold, make it fit, make it yours with our expertise to guide you every step of the way. So come in store and start customising. We're ready. Take advantage of 60 months interest-free, available now, and make it yours at Domain.
Telfast knows that hay fever can strike at any time. It works fast to relieve allergy symptoms like watery eyes, a runny nose and sneezing. Nothing beats Telfast for staying alert and focused when hay fever strikes.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you contact-free. Get free delivery every weekend on Macca's orders $25 or more via the Uber Eats app. Visit Macca's social pages for this weekend's promo code.
If dry or flaky skin is causing you frustration and embarrassment, try E45 cream. It soothes and relieves by creating an effective barrier to protect against skin dryness. Feel comfortable in your skin. Switch to E45.
The Amazon mid-year sale is live now. Time to get great deals on electronics, fashion, homewares and more. Plus, you'll get free delivery on eligible orders over $39. Shop amazon.com.au. Easy as.
The streets are calling. Make sure you're ready to answer. The BMW 118i from 49,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
Bevmark's annual stocktake sale is now on. We're discounting all mattresses by 50% and all bedroom furniture by 20%. No gimmicks, no exceptions. Bevmark's, the sleep professionals. Better sleep, better life.
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
Wow.
It'll come down
4 seconds.
to 4 seconds.
Wow.
There's only one word for this ending.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
New The Chase, weekdays at 5 on 7.
This weather report proudly brought to you by Australian Red Cross.
Hello again. The sunshine returned today and it'll be here to stay throughout the weekend. After some morning fog and frost, we've had a mix of sun and cloud over Melbourne today. From a low of 8, the city almost made it to 14 this afternoon with just light winds. We've had partly cloudy skies over the suburbs and outside now it is 11 in Geelong and Essendon, 12 there at Avalon, 10 degrees around the bay. Fog patches developed inland overnight. Then we had partly cloudy conditions across the state during the afternoon. Light showers showers across the southwest and south central parts produce generally less than 2 millimetres. It's currently 11 in Bendigo, just 9 in Ballarat, 10 degrees at Traralgon. On the satellite, a high pressure system over Western Victoria will remain over the state during this weekend. It'll slowly drift eastwards on Monday. That'll bring us clear skies, cold nights, but sunny days. The first of a series of cold fronts is then due to reach Victoria during Tuesday. Around the nation for tomorrow, 23 and partly cloudy in Brisbane, 17 there in Sydney, mostly sunny and 16 in Adelaide and showers in Perth. We'll have calm conditions and clear skies in Victoria, which makes for a frosty morning. A frost warning has been issued for a number of areas. It'll be most severe through the east there. Some areas will be freezing early on, 0 degrees at Ballarat and at Echuca as well. We could see some fog patches until the early afternoon. Isolated showers near the Gippsland coast will clear during the morning. Then across the state, it'll be cool and partly cloudy with just light winds. Our top temperatures will mostly be around 13 and 14 degrees, just 3 there at Mount Buller. After some areas of fog and frost, it'll be partly cloudy in the city tomorrow. From a chilly low of 5 degrees, we're heading for a top of 13 tomorrow. So it'll be a cool but sunny weekend. I'll have the full forecast for our week ahead in our bulletin at 6 o'clock, Jack.
OK, we'll see you then. Thank you, Melina. And that is all from Melbourne's afternoon news. Thank you for joining us. At 6, Mike Amor has details on a murder probe after a man's body was found close to a primary school. For now, though, take care. I think we're nearly done up.
It says here,